Hello everyone. I haven't been able to do a favorites video in quite some time because I am just extremely broke, so I've had nothing to show you. But I quite miss doing them, so today I'm going to be doing a little different style favorites. I am going to be showing you my bullet journaling favorites, and I really hope that you guys are going to enjoy this video. If you think you are, give it a big thumbs up for me. Okay. So, of course, to start with, my first favorite of bullet journaling is the bullet journal itself. Now, this is the Leuchtturm 1917 dotted bullet journal in emerald. It has these little bookmark strings that come in it. I never use them, but it's nice to have. It has a pocket in the very back cover to be able to keep things in. I keep quite a few essential notes and things that I might need because I take this everywhere with me, so I keep them back there. The pages are dotted, which I prefer over the grid, and they are like ink proof, like seep proof, like the ink does not bleed proof, whatever, one of those words. The ink, you can see through it, but it does not bleed through the page, which I cannot tell you how wonderful of a thing that is. If you guys are bullet journaling or are thinking about starting a bullet journal, get yourself a bullet journal where the ink will not bleed through the page. You'll thank me later. You will. But I love that, and that's one of my favorite parts about this bullet journal. So, of course, this is the first bullet journal that I have had. So you're probably like, yeah, what makes you think that you know all that much about it? Well, the truth is I don't know much about the different brands of bullet journal out there, but I had done my research before getting this bullet journal and it got extremely high ratings, and so far I am extremely pleased with it. And next year I already have plans to buy another of these exact ones, maybe a different color, but this exact journal again. That's how much I love it. So if that tells you anything right there. So if you're looking for a good first-time bullet journal, I do recommend this one. It's been so great. Another favorite of bullet journaling are these. These pens, oh, my pencil's running away. These pens in particular are the Pigma Micron pens. I have them in number 3, 5, and 8. I want to get more sizes. But I love them. They write smooth, they dry super fast, and they come in different thicknesses, so I can do a lot with them. And they're just really good pens to have for art in general, and I'm a very arty person. So this has been very, very good for bullet journaling. Like, amazing. They're my favorite pens to use. They're the only ones that basically that I use when setting up my bullet journal each month. Another bullet journaling favorite, which is going to seem kind of random, is just your basic number 2 pencil, and I'll tell you why. I like to sketch things out each month so that hopefully I will have as minimal mistakes as possible. I will show you 2 of my favorites for things when I have made mistakes, but those are later on in the video. But to try and reduce the amount of mistakes, a pencil, because there's nothing wrong with sketching it out each month to make sure you get it right, because if you mess it up in pencil, you can erase it and just redo it. When you mess it up in pen, it takes a lot more of a correction that I don't always like dealing with. So, I know it seems random and really just simple, but a number 2 pencil is my BFF for bullet journaling. Alright, along with the pencil comes an eraser. This is the I don't know how to say this. Staedtler Mars plastic. I have no idea. It's this. It's just your standard art eraser. I don't know. But this has lasted me for literally years. And it erases things completely and fully and smoothly, which I just appreciate in a good eraser. I'm not saying you have to get this eraser specifically. Any eraser will probably do just fine. I just really love this eraser. And because I sketch things out in pencil first when bullet journaling, I like to have myself a good eraser, and this is my favorite eraser to use. So, there's that for you. Next is a ruler. You don't have to have this ruler exactly. However, you should have a ruler in general. If you think you can get away without a ruler while bullet journaling, you're probably right. You probably can. But if you want something to look really clean and really nice for a certain type of layout, just use a ruler. I know that the dots are there and that they help you draw straight-ish lines, but if you want a really clean, straight line, just use a ruler. Now, I use this ruler because it is 18 inches, so I have got plenty of room. It's metal, which I just like the look of, and it's flexible, so I can bend it to the page if I really need to. Also, it's got cork back lining, so it doesn't slide around on the paper. It grips it and it stays. So I'm not gonna be drawing a line, and then all of a sudden it's gonna like fly away and my line's gonna go all ski-wampus and whatever. Yeah, 18 inches, wonderful, best thing. Another thing is because it's metal, I can mark on this if I really want to, if I need to remember like, oh, I'm drawing a line that is 10 inches. I can mark a line in pencil under the 10-inch mark so that I can just remember that it's 10 inches if I somehow forget, which I don't know how I would, but just say that I do. And then I can just find the mark, and because it's in pencil on a metal ruler, I can just wipe it off, which is really nice about this as well. I'm just really attached to this ruler in terms of, bullet journaling and art in general. So I recommend using a ruler, and if you do use a ruler, I recommend this ruler because I love it. Next on my list of favorites, I've got a couple different things of the same general thing. The first thing I will show you are these. They are the Crayola Pipsqueaks markers. They're just tiny little markers that come in a variety of different shades and colors and things. I personally like to do one color per month. So the more colors and markers and variety that I have, the better, because I will pick a color and then just do varying shades of that color within a certain month. For example, April was green, so I did varying shades of green. And so I took all of the green shades out of this and all of the green shades out of my next set of markers that I'm gonna show you next. But these have been wonderful because it gives me an additional variety to these markers. These are the Crayola Super Tips. In terms of markers, I like these much more than the Pipsqueaks. They go a lot smoother, but I do like the Pipsqueaks in addition to these. These, it's a little harder to show you what they come in. They come in, let's see if I can. Oh gosh. They come in this huge, I have this huge art like briefcase from Crayola that I use. And the Super Tips are all right here. but you can just buy a case of the Crayola Super Tips if you want. But Crayola Super Tips are gonna be your BFFs in terms of markers and coloring for bullet journal. I love them. I want to eventually get like a felt tip brush pen eventually and all sorts of things, and I'm just gonna get real fancy with it. But for now, if you want just a simple, basic, easy way to get some color on your pages for bullet journaling, I definitely recommend Crayola Super Tips. And like I said, the Pipsqueaks are my favorites because they make an excellent addition to these. I don't use one without the other, that's just me. However, if you choose one over the other, I recommend the Super Tips. They're very smooth, they're very pigmented, I love them. They come in a variety of different shades and they're just perfect for bullet journaling. Now we're going to get into the making corrections segment. So, the first things first, my favorite for if you need to make a small correction is whiteout. This is just your regular old liquid whiteout. I like this brand. Just liquid paper is what it's called. It's got a little green cap. Whiteout. And it specifically says on the corner up here, and can't probably see it very well, but it says fast dry. And if you do need to use whiteout, I do recommend getting a fast drying whiteout. I eventually want to get the kind that you just sort of roll on, that's like a strip of paper already. But in terms of just liquid whiteout, I love this stuff because it does dry quick. And when I'm doing my bullet journaling and I make a mistake that I can't just correct over with a pen stroke, and I do need to white it out, this is my best friend because it does dry very quickly and then I can write over top of it, which is nice once it has dried. The next things in terms of making mistakes are just construction paper. This is a cream colored construction paper that is basically the exact shade of the pages of my bullet journal. So if I make a massive mistake, which you can see places that I've had to cut out things because I've made mistakes, I just cut out a section that matches the size that I need for the mistake, and I paste it in with like a glue stick and I can write over top of this, and it just changes it and fixes my mistake quite nicely. The last thing on my list of favorites for bullet journaling is this. This is the Pilot G2 sized 10 ballpoint pen in black. This is what I use after my bullet journal has been set up and is ready to use for the month. This is what I use for the actual planning. Kyle actually brought these home from his work for me years ago, and I've been attached to them ever since. We have a variety of pens. I've used a variety of pens. I've never been attached to a pen in my entire life. But ever since I started using these pens, I haven't gone back. And that's saying something for me because I don't get attached to pens. I just don't. But I am attached to this pen. I won't use any other pen. I sometimes use the size 7, but I prefer the thicker look. So I use the size 10 mainly. But they're just nice. They write smooth. The one downside is when using them in a bullet journal, they can take a little bit too dry, which is why I use them for the planning portion and not the setup. Otherwise, the setup would take me forever if I use this pen because the ink does not dry as quick as the micron pens. But it is a fantastic pen. I use it for more than just bullet journaling, but this is what I use in planning my month. So not setting up the month, but planning the month in bullet journaling because it's easier for me to carry this around and I don't want to use up all the ink of my micron pens. So I carry these around and it's just my favorite pen. I love it. I use it for everything. And yeah, so I think it's a bullet journaling must personally. Alright, those are all of my bullet journaling favorites. Comment down below which one of these are your favorites if you do bullet journal, or if you're thinking about starting a bullet journal. Also, comment down below any themes that you might want to see from me in the future. I would like to know because I think that kind of stuff is cool. Yeah, like this video if you did, give it a big thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. Also, put that little bell notification down there to notify you every single time I upload. And I shall see you guys next time. Bye!